Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today, we are going to look at the evidence behind yoga and migraines. Now, most of us know that yoga is beneficial for a lot of um, conditions, and it's also beneficial as a general well being process of doing some exercises. In my previous video, I have tried to demystify mindfulness meditation, which, as you know, is also beneficial in reduction of migraines and headaches. So, as a continuation of that, we are going to talk a bit about yoga and its role in prevention of migraines and reduction in the severity of migraines. Now, we are faced with a situation that there's a lot of information out there about yoga. So most people are confused as to what to choose from and whether there's any scientific basis in any of them. My name is Pravin Thomas. I am a neurologist and a headache specialist, and I am the founder and chairman of the World Headache Society. With me here today is Mr. Roopesh Ravi, who is a master physiotherapist by training and who also is a master in yoga sciences. So we have someone who has learned yoga the traditional way from a university with a traditional teaching system and gained a master's in that, and someone who also understands the modern aspects of physical medicine, which is all about the biomechanics of the various parts of the body to ensure that exercises are done in the safest way possible. So it's one of these situations where you need both an understanding of both to make sure that you are trained properly in the methodology. In these times when most of us are learning a lot of things virtually, it's also important that we learn from the most reliable source. So, in order to bring a scientific integrity in this, what I have done is I have chosen a yoga module which has been found to be useful as an adjunct, as an add on to conventional migraine treatments. And for that, the study which I have chosen is a study done by the All India Institute of Medical Sciences. Now, what they have done is a randomized controlled trial. So, this trial was called as the contained trial. It was named as the effect of yoga as an add on therapy in migraine. And this was published just last year, and it was published in the American Academy of Neurology official journal named Neurology. So, one of the most remarkable aspect of this study is that they have published the protocol, the module of yoga which was used in the study. So the conclusion, just I want to share with you that yoga as an add-on therapy in migraine is superior to medical therapy alone. It's cost effective and a safe intervention which can be used by most people. Therefore, my intention here is to go through this protocol, this module, and which you can slowly learn by doing in the safest manner possible from an expert, and um, make use best use of it, because I haven't come across many videos which is going to give something which is evidence based from a randomized trial. So that's the gold standard in medical studies, a randomized trial, and they have done it and published it in one of the most reputed journals in the world, and therefore this is going to be something which I believe everyone with migraine should be doing, everyone with headache should be doing. Welcome to this episode, Mr. Roopesh, Ravi. Thank you so much for joining us. So
Nice to
let's
join with.
thank you. Let's start with by doing some of the exercises, starting from the first exercise. And I'll just while he's doing it, I could I would be telling you a bit about the number of rounds of that single exercise which was used in the trial, so that you're able to do that number of times. But for purposes of this video, we will be showing it only once. So the first is a starting prayer. Now, a prayer, the moment you hear the word prayer, you might be thinking that it has to do with a deity or a religious aspect to it. No, it's not necessary. So those of you who are religious and believe in a personal God may pray from that aspect. Those of you who do not believe in any sort of a higher power are free to just um, do take that time to believe in yourself and basically count those moments as an optimistic moment when you're relying in your own optimism and your own motivation to bring about results in your own system. So, Rupesh ji, may I ask you to start off with a prarthanasana, or a prayerful pose, as it's called in yoga, and begin this module.
Thank you, Dr. Pravin. So let's start the whole program either while seated on a chair or while standing up on the mat. Keep your hands together. Gently close your eyes. Focus on your breath. Feel the cool air through your nostrils and the warm air coming out. Inhalation and exhalation. Don't try to control your breath. Now fill your heart with gratitude. Prepare yourself for this practice.
So once you do about 1 minute of this prayer asana, the next is basically to go into the um, next part of which is basically a breathing exercise. And the importance of breathing exercises cannot be um, emphasized any less, especially in times of COVID and respiratory diseases. It's all about oxygenation. It's all about how much of our cells get to receive oxygen, and therefore improving the lung capacity to ensure that the rest of our body every single cell of our body gets the right amount of oxygenation. Many of us um, are breathing possibly not the right way, and the breathing patterns get altered due to stress levels. And therefore, when you spend time doing a breathing exercise, you're essentially doing it the best possible way to make sure that you have a very good level of oxygenation in your body, and which you know is the most important process to ensure that all the systems are functioning properly. So, Rupesh, can we start with this breathing exercise, please?
Your body, right? Your spine straight. If you would like to use a lumbar support, you can roll a towel roll and keep it on your lower back and press it towards the back rest of your chair and sit erect.
Rupesh, can I ask you to just mute the other one because this is interference coming in the form of air sound.
Is it okay now?
It's okay now. So let's
So
start with a breathing exercise. So Rupesh, can you just tell us how exactly is this breathing exercise is done, and how what's the correct way to ensure that we're breathing properly during this exercise?
yeah, first we will have to sit erect with your spine erect. And as I said, you can roll a towel roll and keep it over your lower back as a lumbar support and sit on to that if you feel tired, or others who can sit erect can sit erect. Keep your hands on your thighs facing down. After sitting erect, you focus on your diaphragm. Feel your diaphragm coming out and going in with each relaxed breath. Here, first we are going to start with hand in and out breathing. For that, you have to bring your both hands together, parallel to each other, palms facing each other. Inhale, like the wings of the bird. Stretch your hands out. Exhale, bring it together. You have to do for 5 rounds or 1 minute. Inhale, feel your chest is filled with air, and while you breathe out, feel your completely breathing out fully. Inhale, and you're filling your whole lungs with air. And while you breathe out completely and fully. This is called hand in and out breathing. Here, according to the protocol, you have to do for 5 rounds of hand in and out breathing. Next is hand stretch breathing. Interlace your fingers. After interlacing your fingers, you will have to do it 3 types of hand stretch breathing. One is inhale and stretch your hands towards the front. Exhale, take it back towards your chest. Inhale, stretch your hands. Exhale, bring it back. This also you need to do 5 rounds each. Inhale, exhale. Here I am just demonstrating for 3 times. Next, inhale and take your hands just above your forehead. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, exhale. One thing you have to be cautious. See, while you do this breathing, the main movement is happening in your scapular region. You will be moving out your scapula and you will be bringing down back your scapula together. So focus there. Inhale, feel the shoulder blades moving apart. Exhale, bring it back and keep your hands on your chest. Inhale, just above your forehead. Exhale, come down. So the third type of hand stretch breathing is taking your hands above your head. Caution, those who are having shoulder tendinitis or severe problems of your neck, cervical spondylosis or other problems which might affect your neck while doing this, kindly avoid this practice. Others can inhale, stretch your both hands up, try to touch your biceps near to your ears. Exhale, you can keep it on your head or gently bring it back on your chest. Inhale, stretch yourself, grow tall. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, exhale. So these are hand in and out breathing and hand stretch breathing. Now, next type of breathing is called ankle stretch breathing. For that, you need to stand up. Stand up on the mat. Stand up on your mat. Inhale, bring your hands up and stand on your toe. Exhale, drop your heels down and hands down gently and slowly. From the side. Inhale, lift your heel on your toes. Lift your both hands, palms facing the front. Exhale, gently drop your hands down and bring your feet down. Once more. Inhale, exhale. So these are practices which you can do while sitting and standing. Now we have a practice called straight leg raising and breathing. You have to lie down on the mat, lift your legs up, bring your legs down and do the breathing. Those who can't do that while on the mat can even do while sitting on the chair. I'll just demonstrate that. Inhale, lift your legs up, one leg up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So these practices are basically to synchronize your breathing with your movements. Ideally, this should be done while lying down. Let me demonstrate the straight leg breathing, straight leg raising and breathing. Caution, those who are having disc prolapse or severe lumbago should avoid this practice. Gently lie down by taking the support of your elbow. I would advise you to bend the other leg. Be careful. Now, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Kindly avoid if you have severe back pain and no need to lift too much. Do within your limitation. Now bend the other leg. With the other leg straight. Inhale, exhale, exhale. Out. your both legs straight. Gently roll on one side. Come up to sitting position. Next is called tiger breathing. For this, ideally you have to sit on the mat. Let me first demonstrate how to sit on the mat and do. Those who are having problems with their knees or those who cannot sit on the floor, kindly avoid this. We will have another practice while sitting on the chair. Those who can do, kindly bend your knee, sit on your knees, take one elbow distance between your both knees, keep the other forearm on the ground, both forearms together on the ground. Come up so that you will be on all fours. This is called tiger breathing. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Let me just show you from the side once again. Try to sit on this position on your knees. Those who can't do, even they can keep one pillow, sponge here. Take an elbow distance, the other hand, the front, both hands. Come on forward. Focus on your lower back. Inhale through your nose. Gap your back and look up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now the last breathing in this sequence is called Shashankasana breathing or hair breathing. Keep your both legs apart from the knees. Come down. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe. For those who cannot sit down on the knee, can do this. Sit on the chair. Inhale. Exhale. Tiger breathing. Inhale. Exhale. You need to arch your back and try to breathe in. Then breathe out while you come to the front. Instead of Shashankasana breathing while sitting down, you may try this. Inhale, exhale, and gently drop your hands down, legs down. Inhale, exhale. Do according to your limitations. Kindly don't overstretch yourself. Exhale, drop your hands down and relax. So this is the breathing part of the Pravin.
Thank you. Thank you, Roopesh. There is something which I want to mention at this point. So, if you look at all the exercise systems in the world, which is done in gymnasiums, in modern gyms, and exercise systems, and if you look at fitness trainers and people throughout the world running in thousands or even millions, everyone trying to market a technique saying that this is good for this is good for that. What I want to actually mention at this point is that, there is a lot of improvisations which people have done, and they say that this exercise is slow, this is so simple, this is so difficult. But what is most important is that you are demonstrating a system which is 5,000 years old or 10,000 years old, we don't know exact date. Secondly, you are demonstrating a system which tested to have benefits in migraine through the rigorous scientific methods. And this has nothing to do with your own self and your own marketing strategies where you say that, my technique is better than theirs, and therefore there's no commercial interest here. We're just looking at science which is 10,000 years old, done in the proper trial method that we follow in modern medical science, and shown some efficacy. And therefore, I believe that the exercises, however simple they may seem, has got a lot to do with more than just the movement and the exercise. They bring about a complete system of body mind change, which is found to be beneficial in not just in migraine, but in other conditions also. But these exercises specifically for migraine. And I would let you continue with the rest. I think the next step would be to go for tiger breathing.
Yeah. Now we have completed all the breathing practices. We'll go for something called instant relaxation technique or IRT. There are different methods of doing this technique. So simple way to do anywhere you are in your office or in between the breaks you get, you can do this practice. So this is basically to rejuvenate you and relax you instantly. Those who are having very high blood pressure, kindly take your physician's advice before performing this practice. Though it is a very simple practice, it is having uh, you have to tighten your whole body very strongly, so that you need to have special care while you do this practice. Gently sit erect. Now focus on your toes. Tighten your toes. Stretch your ankles up. Tighten it. Tighten your thigh muscles. Tighten your buttock muscles. Suck in your abdomen. Make a fist out of your hand. Inhale and take your chest up. Tighten your whole body. Tighten your face. Tighten, 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 tighten. Relax completely and fully. Feel the whole blood flowing through your whole body, including your arms, your face, your legs, your feet. Feel the complete relaxation. Take a deep inhalation and exhalation. So this is the way of doing instant relaxation technique while you are seated. Now let's try to do instant relaxation technique while you are lying down. Lie down on your mat. Spread your hands apart. Keep your legs apart, palms facing the ceiling. Now bring your legs together. Make the sole of the foot tight, ankle tight, calf muscles tight, thigh muscles tight. Tighten your buttock muscles, tighten your whole lower body. Exhale and suck in your abdomen. Inhale and expand your chest. Tighten your hands, tighten, make it a fist. Tighten your whole body, tighten your face, tighten, 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 tighten. Relax and then completely collapse your whole body. Feel your breath. You can feel a deep inhalation followed by exhalation. You would feel the rushing of the blood flowing throughout your body, especially your arms, your palms, your face. Feel the relaxation. Feel your breath. Now you can see when your left leg turn to your right. Take support of your hand. Gently come up to sitting position. So this was instant relaxation technique. As I mentioned, it goes for the whole body tightening actively. So kindly consult your physician before doing this instant relaxation technique.
Thank you, Roopesh ji. There was a,
Thank you.
I just want to just make a comment here. It's perhaps it's important to understand that disorders of headache, like migraines, cluster headache, they all tend to have a sort of a neurological problem in certain parts of the brain, like the hypothalamus, which basically takes care of the rhythms in the body. We have rhythms. Everything is based on rhythms. The heart, the breathing, the hormonal secretions, your sleep-wake cycle. Everything follows a sort of a rhythm, and it's modulated by certain areas of the brain, notably the hypothalamus. Now, what essentially we are doing by the series of routines, I would say, not exercises, certain routines which were followed by our ancestors many thousands years ago, was to make this whole thing rhythmic with oneself and with the universe. So it's essentially being in sort of in sync with the internal and external milieu. So that's exactly the problem with migraine. You see, for instance, the problem is that of sensory processing. So the sensory processing is damaged, and therefore a difference from the baseline in the external and internal milieu can trigger a migraine. So I believe these exercises have to do a lot with retraining that rhythmic system so that your internal and external milieu to some extent is in sync with the rest of things around. What do you feel, Rupesh?
Excellent. Dr. Pravin, you have touched the real power of the yogic practices. When we compare yogic practices with other physical exercises, people might from outside feel that these are also body movements or physical movements. So here in yogic practices, especially as Dr. Pravin had mentioned rightly, there is a synchronization happening in the body movements, in your breath, the inhalations and exhalations, and your mind awareness. So these three things are very important. So you have to be very rhythmic in your movement. You should not overstress yourself, and it should get synchronized with your inhalations and exhalation. And while you do that practices, you have to focus on the body movements, your breath, so that your mind won't wander outside, and you will have a subtle focus within. So I think this is an added advantage of doing yogasanas over other physical exercises. It's very true that any physical activity, it is a boon you have to continue with any physical activity. But with yoga, especially, you are trying to bring this awareness possible. So let us now go to the next phase of practice called Sushma Vyayam or subtle practices. Sukshma means the small or subtle practices or loosening exercises, we can say. So, can I start, Dr. Pravin?
Certainly. So it's also interesting to know that there is a Sukshma and Stula.
Yes,
So there's a gross and subtle
yes,
elements to lives. So we're looking at something like we're looking at
yes.
subtle elements. Am I right? So Sukshma Vyayam basically means that it's not
Yes,
about bodybuilding or making sure that you're
yes,
flexible and you're having a lot of agility in movements.
yes,
That's the whole purpose. I think it's more to do with something which is more subtle,
yes.
subtle aspect which we cannot really measure, but which contributes significantly to our well-being. And I think Sukshma is basically for that. Am I right, Roopesh?
Very true. Now, these are just loosening, simple loosening practices might from outside, but when you bring that awareness, it becomes more subtle. Now, bring your both hands to the front, open your fingers, gently make fist out of your fingers. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. You might throw it open, close it, open, close, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now, the same thing you can do with your wrist. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. I'm just doing 3-4 rounds, but you can continue according to your capacity, at least 10 rounds. Now, rotation, clockwise, anti-clockwise rotation of the wrist. Now, bend your elbows, open it, close, open, close, open. Now let's come for the shoulder rotation. Rotate your shoulders. Exhale, inhale when you open up. Exhale, inhale, exhale. Now anti-clockwise. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. See, the shoulder movements are very important in a migraine patient because, as you know, there are muscles which start from your shoulder and goes up to your back of the skull. So to relax and activate these muscles, this type of movements or mobility are very important. So moving your shoulders in rotation, in and out. Now we shall gently go for movements of the neck. Inhale, look up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, synchronize with your breathing. Exhale, inhale, exhale. Now look towards your right over your right shoulder, neck rotation. Look over your left shoulder to the left side, feel the stretch. Exhale while you rotate. Inhale when you come to the front again. Exhale, rotate to the left. Now neck flexion to the side. Try to touch your right ear towards your right shoulder. Come up. Exhale to the left. Come up. Right. Up. Left. Up. Right. Up. These exercises are very important, though it seems to be very, very simple exercises. As you all are aware, now we are mostly into the gadgets, using our gadgets or iPhone or your computer screens. So the whole posture would have been changed. So you would have gone for a forward neck posture. So these exercises would help you to regain your posture and improve the mobility and strength of your shoulder girdle muscles. These are very important. So these practices, age-old practices of Sushma Sukshma Vyayams in this yogic protocol might help you to come out of this back postures and help in mobilizing your shoulder and your neck muscle. Thank
Roopesh, at this stage, I can't but help remark on one aspect of this whole exercise thing. I mean, I have been someone who has been regular at the gym many years back. I have been practicing martial arts over 2 decades now, more than that. I mean, these exercises seem to be very simple compared to all those complex exercises which most of us tend to do in these in gyms and martial arts circuits. So the question which arises in anyone who's saying this is, oh, this seems to be so simple. What's the big deal? I mean, why is there so much of hype about yoga? And I think I'm going to answer my own question here. I think this is a continuation of what I spoke earlier in the previous video on mindfulness, and a continuation to saying that this is not about developing the the physical body alone, although that's also one of the important byproducts. But what it tries to do is to go from the complex to the simple. Um, what it tries to go is from the body to the mind, uh, the the way we would like to say. Yeah. So you have the gross physical body that you are quite aware of, and by doing these sort of exercises with mindfulness, with synchronization, with breathing, what you essentially is reaching a state of the mind which puts you in synchronization with the rest of everything. So therefore, I mean, this cannot be seen as just which can which is mostly done in most places, but that's not the whole thing. It's the way that it's done that's more important. It's the way that you bring in your awareness. It's the way that you bring in your breathing patterns. All of them together make this simple exercise magnify in such a way that it cumulatively manifests as a sort of a brain reorganization, a circuit reorganization. Therefore, you're having better benefits in disorders such as migraine. Thank you. Roopesh, can we go to the next step, please?
So now we have to proceed to another beautiful practice called Surya Namaskar. Surya Namaskar is a combination of asana, pranayama. It is like a bridge. You do it before you go into the asana. So your Surya Namaskar is a dynamic or sequential practices of different asanas interposed with the pranayama techniques. So this is the age-old practice, which if you do every day according to the Palasruti or the mantra which comes after each practice, as you know, there is something late or the sloka that says that what is the use of doing this. So it is said that it gives you the vigor, vitality, and you will live longer, healthier. So let's see how to do Surya Namaskar. As you all know, there are different methods of doing Surya Namaskar. So here we are doing the simple method of Surya Namaskar. Kindly be with me. While you do Surya Namaskar, come to the front of the mat. Let me do from the side so you will be more, it's more visible from the side. Bring your hands, palms touching each other to Namaskar Mudra. Inhale, lift your both hands up. Exhale, bring your hands down. Inhale, Take your left leg back. Exhale. Come to the plank posture. Now, inhale, exhale. Come to the knee sitting position. Hold the breath here. Now, inhale, press your whole body up. Exhale, downward dog posture. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, again, the left leg to the front. Exhale, both legs together. Now, inhale, exhale, the starting. So this is one round of Surya Namaskar. You need to do at least 3 times of this Surya Namaskar. This is one round. You have to do 3 rounds. Let me now show you from the front. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale and exhale. Hold your breath. Inhale, exhale, inhale and exhale. Bring the same leg which you have kept back again. Exhale, inhale, exhale. Now, for patients who are unable to do this while the whole process, they might do a modification or variation of this. Inhale, exhale, inhale with your left leg up, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. It is basically different asanas in a sequence with breathing practices is called Surya Namaskar. It is a vinyasa or a connected asanas together to make a sequential flow of practice. So this is a practice of Surya Namaskar. You have to do 3 times according to the protocol. Once you finish doing the Surya Namaskar, because it's a very rejuvenating and activating procedure, it's a very dynamic practice. After that, you have a relaxation technique called QRT.
So, the Surya Namaskar literally translated as salutation to the sun. And I believe that Surya Namaskar is something which, for some reason, is the sun. So, which means that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. So, if you were to do this exercise in the morning, you would be facing the east. And if you were to do this in the evening, you would be facing the west, for
Yes.
whatever benefits that really bring forth. We're not sure about the complex physics behind Earth's magnetic fields and how it affects the body, but the traditional teaching is to follow that. Secondly, there's a lot of people who believe that Surya Namaskar tends to be what's called as a daddy or mummy of yogasanas, because that one sequence tends to have so many of these asanas in place. And one single cycle of Surya Namaskar is able to go through different postures at the same time in sort of a very fluid, rhythmic way while focusing on breathing, while focusing on the awareness of the self and being very mindful that it brings about changes not just to the physical system, but even the other systems of the body, which is governed by the endocrine system, the neuroendocrine system. So, as we know now that most of these, what we call as feelings and emotions, they're all neurotransmitter related. And we have an endocrinological system which has got this axis of having a relationship between the hormones and with the neurotransmitters. And therefore, when you do these postures, it's not impossible to imagine that various glands and systems of the body are activated in such a way that at the end of this, you feel so energized and rejuvenated because of this sort of a balancing in neurotransmitters and the hormonal system of the body. Thank you so much, Roopesh. Let's go ahead with the rest of the protocol.
Now we shall proceed to QRT or quick relaxation technique. So the QRT, I'll show you how to do it while lying down. You may even do it while sitting. Let me demonstrate how we can do it while lying down. Anytime when you lie down, try to take support of your elbow or lie on your side and then gently come down. Keep your hands apart, leg apart. First, we will relax the lower body. Feel the inhalations and exhalations. Now bring your attention towards your lower body, starting from your toes until your hips. Consciously try to relax and let go of the whole lower body. Now for better relaxation, inhale and chant the syllable ah and try to relax the lower body. Inhale, ah. Relax and let go your whole lower body from your toes until your feet. Again, last down. Keep your abdomen bulging out. Now command to yourself that your whole lower body is completely relaxed. Now bring your attention towards your abdomen and chest. Feel your abdomen and chest going up and coming down with each relaxed breathing. While you inhale, your belly goes up. While you exhale, your belly comes down. Feel while with each inhalation, your body is filled with more bigger and while you breathe out, feel you are throwing out all your negative emotions, thoughts, and the man. Feel with each exhalation, you are throwing out all your negative thoughts. Now inhale and chant the syllable "oo" while you breathe out. Take a deep inhalation. Relax your upper body, your chest, your arms, your shoulders. Inhale. Now bring your attention towards your secondly, your cheeks, your forehead, your ears, your scalp, neck, the roof of your head. Exhale and chant Makara. Feel your whole head gets complete. Now, the whole body for total relaxation stand up over times. Uh, uh, feel that you're happy. By keeping move your fingers to hit out of your hands. Just bring your hands together. Gently turn and lie on your side. Take support of your hands and get up to sitting posture. Now we shall go for asana practices.
So, Rupesh, I think that most importantly at this point, it's important to highlight that this adjuvant module, which we add to the routine of an individual, by logic, it affects and it improves the general functioning of the individual. And it's definitely proven to be effective in migraines and headache reductions. And therefore, it means a lot of things actually. It also means that you can reduce your reliance on medications. All the medications which tend to have a lot of side effect profiles, and therefore you would like to minimize medications while relying on healthier non pharmacological means of enhancing the quality of life. And as you know, migraine is not just headaches, it's all about the whole quality of life being affected by this disorder. And therefore, I would strongly recommend that this process be followed. Now, although it looks like this whole thing is a very lengthy process, it's because we are intercepting it with explanations and theories behind. But when it comes to practice, the whole thing can be finished in a few minutes or little more than that if it's done the proper way. The more you practice, the more efficient you become in finishing it in little time rather than going through a long schedule. But for the purposes of learning, we are going as slow as possible. As one martial arts teacher once told me, the first thing is technique, the second thing is practice, and the third thing is perfection. So you cannot bypass any of these techniques to become an expert in a day, but it's all about learning the proper technique, the proper way, which is why we have step by step commentary on each exercise, the do's and the don'ts for you to visually assimilate. It's as good as a one on one training. And at the same time, you practice and make it perfect. Initially, you will take a longer period, but eventually, you will be able to gain expertise on these. Now, let's go to the asanas or the postures of yoga, which is included in this yoga module. Over to you, Roopesh.
Thank you, Dr. Ravi. The beginning itself, we were focusing on how exactly you can do these practices without injuring yourself. So we would recommend you to take the help of a trained yoga teacher and after consulting with the physician before you go into any of these practices. There are a few asanas included in the protocol. Around 8 asanas are there in this protocol developed for migraine through RCP. So the first asana and few of the asanas you have already seen while you were doing the Surya Namaskar. The first asana is Pada Hastasana. Let me demonstrate Pada Hastasana. And again, caution those who are having low back pain, disc prolapse, or other problems where you are not supposed to bend your lower back. You should avoid this practice. For them, a safer practice while sitting on the chair would be done. Now let's go for doing Pada Hastasana. Stand erect. Any standing asana begins with Tadasana or standing posture. Stand erect. Bring your abdomen in. Chest expanded. Shoulders open. Hands by the side of the body. Pada Hastasana. Inhale. Bring your both hands up. Stretch your whole body up. Now exhale. Bend from your hip. Keep your lower back arched. Now gently bend again forward. Drop your both hands down. Try to reach to the floor. Try to keep your both hands on the ground. Or if you could, gently tangle your both hands. And those who can, gently hold on to the ankle. Try to bring your forehead closer to your knee.
normal inflation, exhalation. Stay for a while. Breathing, inhalation and exhalation. Exhalation. Be aware of your lower back being stretched, your lower legs, your hamstrings, the calf muscles, the spine, the blood flowing toward your face. Relax your neck. Now inhale. First bring your both hands to the front. Gently bring your body up. For inhalation, exhale and drop your hands down. This is Padahastasana. And those who cannot do Padahastasana while standing may take the help of the chair. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, come up, exhale, drop your hands down. Now we shall go for the counter posture of Padahastasana. It is called Hatha Chakrasana or half wheel posture. Let me show you from the side. Again, Tadasana. Bring your both hands up. Take the support of your palms. Bring it on your lower back. Your elbows pointing back. Your abdomen tucked inside. Just expanded. Now inhale. First gently drop your head back. Gently arch your body back. Open your eyes. Tighten your buttocks. Tighten your thigh muscles. Now inhale and come up. Exhale and drop it. This is called Ardha Chakrasana. Now, next practice is while sitting down, gently sit down. Assume first Dandasana or staff posture. You shall go for trying to touch your toes with your hands. This is called Paschimottanasana. Inhale, bring your both hands up. Exhale, try to reach forward and try to touch your toes. So those who can, hold on your thumb, bend your elbows, try to touch, go back towards your knees. Be in this posture. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Fine. Inhale, exhale, and drop. I would recommend those who are beginners can bend their knees and try to do this posture instead of keeping their knees straight. Inhale, exhale, and gently bend forward. Inhale up, exhale. Now, the next posture is called Adho Mukha Svanasana or downward dog posture. stand in the your feet down, gently bring your head down and look towards your navel, but relax your neck muscles. Feel the stretch on your calf muscles, your hamstring muscles, your buttock muscles, your lower back, inhalation and exhalation, inhalation, exhalation.
Now, next asana is Setu Bandhasan or bridge posture. Lying on your back, bend your both knees, keep your arms on the ground. Now inhale and lift your lower back up. Those who can, kindly hold on to their ankle and lift the lower back up. Tighten your buttocks. Next asana for improving the strength of your lower back and improving the circulation for the neck musculature. Down. And next asana is Bhujangasana. Then we turn by your side and come to relaxed posture first to begin with this asana. Now bring your both hands to the front. Stay here and bring your both hands, palms near to your ribs, parallel to your chest. Now inhale by using your lower back muscles. Until your chest and your upper abdomen reach the floor. Tighten buttock, tighten thigh muscle. Go back to hold this position. Inhale, come down. Again, come to relax posture. Now, next asana is for Vakrasana for spine and wrist. Dandasana. Bend your right leg. Take your right hand back. Inhale, exhale, and take your left hand around your right knee. Try to touch on your toes or your ankle if you can hold on. And look over your right shoulder. Drop your hand, exhale. Now we shall do the other side. Bend your left knee, keep your left hand back, inhale, with your right hand up, outer part of your knee, try to pull on the hand, look for your left. Now last in the asana is Pushpasana or camel posture. This is called Vajrasana. Vajrasana. There are two ways of doing Vajrasana. Go back. Of your neck and just your eyes. Now, person. Come up, relax. Now, the next one is Yoga Nidra. That takes around 10 minutes. I think Yoga Nidra itself has to come in a different session because it is a relaxation procedure which needs a commentary of how to do relaxation. It's somewhat similar. The procedure is somewhat similar to what we have seen in quick relaxation technique, but this is having a progressive technique of how to relax each part of your body and go into a deep, relaxed state called yoga nidra. Now, we shall go for a practice called pranayama. These are very important practices. Now, we will see it in the following session of pranayama. I think, Dr. Pravin, we can include yoga nidra and pranayama in the next episode.
I must say that this is a very comprehensive series of exercises, which is going exactly how the trial was conducted, and therefore it's undoubtedly, going to be beneficial for those who practice. Now, after the series of postures and exercises which was demonstrated by Mr. Roopesh, the next step that he is going to go through is pranayama. Yama means a cycle. It's also related to time. And prana means the life force or life, whatever keeps you alive. And pranayama is about regulating that which is alive in you. by a sort of timed method. So it goes much beyond the etymological understanding or the epistemological understanding of what exactly this means. But the effects are so enormously profound that within a few days of practicing this regularly, you will understand the benefits that's not just related to your head and neck problems, but also to that of your entire system. This is a sort of a detox, sort of a regulatory process of making sure that you come back to be in rhythm with everything else. Please continue, Rupeshi, to understand the fundamentals of pranayama and how it's been um, demonstrated in this module. Thank you.
Again, I would like to reinforce my statements that these techniques have to be learned from a learned guru or a master. So for the point of demonstrating, I'm demonstrating it. Pranasya ayamaha iti pranayama. As Dr. Pravin has rightly said, it is the way how you control your breath. So your breath is very closely related to the mind. So while you calm your breath, you are going to calm your mind. So the first practice here we are going to demonstrate is Kapalabhati. And this Kapalabhati, the name itself is the shining of the skull. You know, the forehead shines while someone does Kapalabhati. That is the name itself. So the precaution while you do Kapalabhati is advised that those who are having high blood pressure should avoid Kapalabhati. Here we are just doing only one round of Kapalabhati, which is around 40 to 60 strokes. So let me demonstrate. Sit in any comfortable sitting posture or meditative posture. While you do Kapalabhati, you will be passively inhaling and actively exhaling. You will contract your abdomen and actively exhale, and you will passively inhale. This passive inhalation will become an automatic process, but you will contract your abdomen and try to throw the air out from your lungs by using the force of your abdominal muscles and by using the diaphragm. The air will be thrown out and the air will automatically enter by within vacuum that is being created thoracic cavity through this process. Now, we stay. Now, breathe out forcefully. You can see that I'm contracting my abdomen and trying to force the air out so that there is a pressure difference within the thoracic cavity happening and the air is sucked into back into the lungs. Forceful exhalation through the nose while contracting the abdomen. You can see my abdomen flapping. And you can feel the inhalation is a passive process. After you practice it for 1 minute, you can observe the normal, natural cessation of breathing. It's called Kevala. You will feel the breath has become more subtler and more calmer and more deep. So this is Kapalabhati. Now we shall proceed to Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama or alternate nostril breathing. For that, you have to adopt Nasika Mudra. your ring and the little finger stretched out, your thumb stretched out, the index and the middle finger is kept near to the bend to the palms. Now you will close your right nostril with your tongue and inhale through your left nostril. Close your left nostril and exhale out through right nostril. Inhale through the right nostril and exhale through the left nostril. Inhale through the left nostril. Exhale through the right nostril. Inhale through the right nostril. Exhale through the left nostril. So one complete round of inhalation and exhalation through the alternate nostril makes one round. You need to continue at least for 10 rounds this Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama. Now we shall proceed to the next practice called Bhramari. Bhramara means the female bee. You have to make the sound of the bee. That humming sound has to come. For that, you have to take your tongue, the tip of the tongue should touch the upper palate. Then you need to close your ears with your thumb, index finger above your eyelids, middle finger just closing your nostril, ring finger above your upper lips, little finger below your lower lips, gentle inhalation through the partly closed nostril. Now breathe out and chant. Need to continue this practice for 5 rounds. After you finish the practice, you can feel the beautiful vibration in your head, immerse in that sound, that vibration, and feel the relaxation. Next is Nadanusandana. Nadanusandana is the following practice of Bhramari. After Bhramari, you can go to Nadanusandana. Inhale, then Akara and feel the vibration on the lower part of your body from your navel down to your lower legs. Continue for 3 rounds. Then gently go for Ukara. Followed by Ukara. Now together. Feel the reverberations of the nada within you. And exhalation and feel the vibrations throughout your body, especially around your feet, on your scalp, and you can feel the vibration. Now it's a time for the cooling pranayamas called Shitali, Chitkari, and Satantra. First one is Shitali. You have to make your tongue roll like peak of a bird. Now inhale and feel the cool air going in through your tongue, touching your tongue, the cool air going in through your trachea and deeper bronchi. Just try to be aware of passage of cool air. Each practice for 5 rounds. Now, carry, bend your tongue by half, open your mouth and inhale to your mouth so that the air passes through both sides of your tongue and feel the coolness going inside. Continue for another 5 rounds. Now the next practice is Sadhana, inhaling through your clenched teeth. These cooling pranayamas help us to develop the calmness within and the coolness within our body and our mind. So this is the end of the practice. Thank you.
Excellent. That was awesome. I mean, I must say that what you have demonstrated, what you have actually completed is that series of exercises which have been tested, tested on the field amongst the various hundreds of exercises out there, and hundreds of people claiming that their variation is better than the other, or this is the original system. So I believe this video is going to be one of its kind. We have brought in tradition, we have brought in science, we have brought in the rigorous process of making sure that it's have been tested and tested and proven to have benefits. So this one source is enough for you to practice and experience the benefits of reduction in your migraines and headaches, and also experience the improvement in all the other aspects of life in general. Since you have mentioned about the necessity for having a teacher and a supervisor, Mr. Roopesh. Let me also ask you this question. Now, with the advent of the pandemic, a lot of us are actually in our homes learning a lot of new things, knowledge, skills. Now, what if we can actually refine this technique through just this visual method where, let's say, you are a teacher and I'm sitting at this end and I'm doing this exercise. If I do something wrong, you're able to correct me. Or the second option, that if I were to look at your video and try as far as possible by sticking to your cautions of do's and don'ts and do them exactly as you do, wouldn't that bring the same effect of, you know, going through the long process, the traditional process of going to a school, which may not be practical in these days now? I just want to have your views on that.
Yes, Dr. Pravin. See, now there is post-COVID era. Now things are becoming more of remote access learning to all the techniques. So as you rightly said, if you have a right teacher, the medium could be even online teaching or offline teaching would be comfortable. Anyone can learn. The thing is that you have to take the correct caution, and you have to consult with your physician or a physiotherapist or a neurologist, or whoever you are consulting. You have to consult with him and then take his opinion and go by. And now a protocol, a tele yoga protocol, or standards have been developed, so that what all things should be followed and what should not be taught through a tele yoga methods. So it is also being discussed in the area of yoga teaching. So if you follow those guidelines, anyone can learn, because this protocol is a very simple and basic protocol. Only thing is that, depending upon each person's individual capacity, they might need to improvise and modify some of the practices. I'm very much concerned about someone injuring rather than getting benefit out of the whole process. So you should not go for look into a video where the patient should not look into a video where an expert is doing and trying to imitate it. Rather than he should know how far he can go, and depending on that, he should slowly and gradually proceed, so that this benefit could be reaped. And I'm very sure that these practices, if it is done with awareness, it is not how much you bend or the way you do the flexibility, but I think it is the awareness and the mindfulness that is the key of doing this. And especially when you come to this practices like pranayama and all, as Dr. Pravin has rightly said, there is some neuroendocrinological processes which is happening, which should be researched into to know exactly what is that it is happening. But as AIMS have come out with this, have proved through RCT this module. So let's all take it up and let this video be an inspiration, so that people can go into more detail of learning, sequentially proceed in this method of dealing with headaches. It actually relaxes your whole body and mind. So definitely it has been benefited for many patients. From my experience, I have seen many patients getting benefited out of doing these yogic practices or exercises as such, apart from the medicines. So when you can go hand in hand, I'm very sure that this is going to help the patients. Thank you.
Amazing. I think the most important, the most crucial point that you have just highlighted is about going slow, taking small chunks at a time. Because many of us, what we tend to think that if we don't do it exactly how it's seen, then there is no benefit. So we push ourselves to do that. Now, what is most important in yoga, as we understand, is that the moment it becomes uncomfortable, that's when it should be stopped. Unlike other practice systems where you push yourself to the to the point of pain or to the point of injury or whatever the philosophy is. But in yoga, it's about the moment you see that there's a disruption in your awareness or in your breathing pattern, it means you should stop doing what you're doing, because it means that your system isn't adapted to the point that you can do it completely. But that's not to lose hope, because you are in the process and you can reach there by repeated practice. It's just being in that process. And the process of joy is not in actually completing the complexity of the exercise, but the process is in actually doing that particular exercise, even the few moments that you do, to the best of your ability, being in the moment, being in the awareness, and doing that itself is going to bring this benefit. So yes, so this is really something which we need to really focus on. There are hundreds of thousands of teachers and videos and everything out there, but we need to rely on scientific evidence, as in this particular randomized controlled trial modules that we have used. And we, as the World Headache Society, of which Mr. Roopesh is also the executive director, we wish that all the nations of the world are able to replicate these studies and to make sure that we build the evidence in trying to reduce our reliance on pills and medications and achieve a balance in life through non pharmacological means. And with that end, I wish to thank Mr. Rupesh, Executive Director of the World Headache Society, an accomplished physiotherapist and yoga teacher, to have spent his time with us, teaching us today. And I also thank all the viewers who are watching us to, to, to use these in your lives and get the maximum benefits and improving quality of your life and people around you. Thank you very much. Have a lovely rest of your day. God bless. Bye bye.